Hello and welcome to this special edition of the Robert Gregory Partners Navigating Leadership podcast series. My name is Greg Smith and I will be your host. With what seems to be an almost hourly changing of everything surrounding COVID-19, each of our business and our personal lives are being turned upside down over and over again. As a global executive coaching firm, our passion, our desire, our mission is to help leaders deliver results. Our team felt it was critical to continue to be a resource to anyone in talent or human resources supporting the leaders in the organizations, and to any individual executive or leader trying to remain focused and execute business while also keeping their teams and their families safe. To that, I'm happy to introduce a partner and managing director here at Robert Gregory Partners, Maria Sullivan. She gladly goes by Sully. Hi and welcome, Sully. May I ask you to give us a quick introduction to who Sully is and what perspective she brings?
Thanks, Greg. Happy to be here today. So I'm an executive coach. I have been since, last century. I didn't start my life as an executive coach. I had a career first in finance and then in a law firm and then ultimately in IT. So I have some business and leadership background before I moved into coaching full time. Joined Robert Gregory Partners about 7 years ago and never looked back.
Fantastic. Well, Sully, as our leadership team was talking the other day about leading during these times of extreme disruption, you relayed an experience to us that we thought was particularly relevant. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that experience with us?
Certainly. I joined the world's largest professional services firm in early March of 2001. We had 3 offices in New York City and 2 of them were destroyed on September 11th. I was running the intranet for the firm at the time, and so I had a large team of people. We were a very large presence in New York, and it took 11 days to find where everyone was. We learned a lot of lessons during that time frame. The most important one we learned is that there's no replacement for the people. No amount of resources, no amount of hardware, no amount of help can replace what is the constitutional knowledge of the leaders who are in place on the day before the event. And so the translation of that into my everyday conversation this week with my clients has been very direct. There is no replacing you in this equation. It's like they talk about on the airlines. You have to put your oxygen mask on first before you can help others. So I urge each of my clients, and I urge each of you listening here today, to ask yourself, how well am I taking care of myself? Because I'm going to be the most important asset to helping us recover when the time comes.
Wow, that's impactful, and thank you for sharing that. I can't imagine the feeling of searching for your coworkers and colleagues, yet what a salient theme to come out of what do we do differently. To that, you mentioned that you're talking to your clients, and I know you're coaching and talking to leaders multiple times a day right now. Can you share a little about what you are discussing with them or what you're coaching them on?
So I've been talking them through a really simple model of resilience. I use the word resilience as sort of a catch-all. We know that in times of stress, the science shows us that in times of stress, that you're going to have disrupted sleep. We know that's going to impact, for example, your ability to be strategic and creative. We know that you're going to be short on time. That may impact your ability to communicate or to build collaboration with others or to think broadly about opportunity. We know that you're going to short circuit your own well-being, right? How well you're hydrating, how well you're resting, how well you're de-stressing, how well you're moving your body. And in these times, how you're building your sense of immunity or your ability to fight off infection. These are the simple components of resilience. I use a small 6-part model with folks, and we work through each one because it isn't just the obvious pieces that fall down in stress times. There are bigger blind spots than that. And so we try and talk through all of them.
Wow. Fascinating. And all of those skills that you referenced are so essential to leadership survival, let alone leadership success right now. So maybe today, could we ask you to tell us a little bit more about resilience and that model that you referenced? Could you maybe paint a picture for us, help us understand how we might just start to get our arms around and operationalizing resilience?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So I really talk about it as a 6-part model. So imagine that you have a pizza in front of you and divide it into 6 pieces. We always start with the piece on the bottom first, which is really your health and well-being. We want to make sure that your nutrition, your sleep, your exercise, your de-stressing is all in place, because we know that in times of stress, you're going to overdo your natural strengths and your natural derailers are going to show up. So we want to make sure that you've got a good foundation of health and that you're monitoring it and maintaining it even in the face of the landslide that is your daily schedule. We then talk about vision. The challenge with situations where uncertainty and lack of control are issues is that we forget to talk about the why. We are all focused on the tactical in order to essentially fight an existential threat. The vision piece of this is what gets people motivated and keeps clear where we're headed. So don't forget as a leader to continue to talk about why, continue to talk about our purpose and our goals and how our values are congruent with the actions we're taking every day, not just during the crisis, but after the crisis as well. Next comes composure. Really, you want to think about composure as your ability to regulate your own emotion, your ability to not jump to conclusion, and to be calm and in control with the people who need to see that from you. We know from all of the science that came out of September 11th that people want 2 things in their leaders. They want a visible leader, right? Somebody that doesn't hide in their office, somebody who's willing to take questions and be in front of the room. But they also want somebody who's authentic. If you're in reaction, you're in your and not regulating your emotion, then you're showing them someone who's afraid. And they imagine that you know why we should be afraid, and they take their cue from you. Next comes reasoning, of course, right? That's your ability to do problem solving, to think about opportunity, to be resourceful and creative, to anticipate and plan. These are all things that are diminished during crisis if you don't manage your own resilience. Collaboration, right? The ability to connect with others, the need to connect with them, the recognition that sometimes what you need is someone else's idea and not your own. And you need to reach out instead of trying to solve problems for yourself. We get in the fight or flight and we forget that we need to collaborate in order to be more effective in our broader solutioning and not just fixing a problem because it's my problem today. And then finally, tenacity. This is the thing that falls off so quickly, and it's one of the keys to resilience, and it's easiest to build, right? When things are really tough, we tend not to have the persistence and not the optimism that we would normally have, and we give up on great solutions or taking the time to find great solutions because we don't have that reservoir of tenacity. So that's how I think about resilience, and I talk through those 6 pieces with my clients pretty much every time I talk to them these days.
Wow, absolutely fascinating, Sully, and extremely insightful. I appreciate you sharing that experience and that model with us today. I know from previous conversation with you, you shared that tenacity, collaboration, vision, composure, reasoning, health, and overall resilience is, it is something that is developable. So, friends, that's all we really have time for today on the first part of our 2-part series. Join us for part 2. We'll have Sully rejoin us and share practical tips for how you can put your oxygen mask on before helping others, and then how you can help others with theirs. Thank you for joining us.